match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pitodry on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Very good morning to you. How are you? You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. We're building up to talkSPORT Breakfast back at 6 o'clock this morning with Big Alan Brazil alongside his Bezzy, Gabby, Agbon, Lahore. But coming up for you now, over the next hour or so, you're going to hear the best bits of Ange Postecoglou's first Nottingham Forest press conference. I'm so glad he's back. Arsenal away to kick off the Europa League winner. Live and exclusive for you here on talkSPORT tomorrow afternoon. And Big Ange isn't the only star you'll be hearing from. John Terry, Jamie Redknapp, Holly Willoughby and Davina McCall have all been speaking to us here at talkSPORT over the last 24 hours, and we're also going to get stuck into this morning's back and front pages. And as always, we want to hear from you. That number 03717 223344. You're on speed dial, baby. It's Early Breakfast on talkSPORT. Here with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. I feel like it's my first day back at school. Actually, if you're watching on your smart TV or your YouTube channel, I kind of look like I'm going to school. Does anyone notice that? I look like either a waitress in a nice restaurant or like I'm going to school. I'll just fix my kimono here, my shirt. Somebody get me a tie. I feel like I haven't been here in ages. This could be a shambles. Don't know my backside from my elbow this morning trips, but we will get there. Luckily, we've got today's back pages to get into for you just now, and it's all focused on Big Ange's first presser back in the Premier League, of course, as Nottingham Forest manager. He looks well, I have to say. Won another trophy, took a massive holiday in Greece, and got fed steak in a lovely Greek restaurant night after night, and then decided it was time to get back to it. Ange, I knew I'd be axed, as the headline on the back page of The Sun, but kept quiet to avoid spoiling Europa League party. Half and half scarf ban is also back page of The Sun today. West Ham have banned half and half scarves from tomorrow's powder keg clash with Tottenham Hotspur. Really? I mean, half and half scarves. Unless you're like under 10, who's buying them? Okay, that's the unpopular opinion. Should go take another 3 weeks off. Back page of the Times. Ange holding up his Forest shirt, looking very, very good, I have to say, in his suit. Also below that, Chelsea hit with 74 charges. Alleged offences include secret payments to agents in Abramovich era, which club self-reported. Looking at the Telegraph pullout, it's focusing on Keely Hodgkinson. I was injured collecting my MBE, says Keely. Of course, the championships in Tokyo gets underway very, very soon. I was speaking to the legendary Dame Kelly Holmes yesterday at the BGC Charity Day over in Canary Wharf. I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. And just talking about what's ahead for Keely Hodgkinson, how unstoppable she is, and the kind of character she is as well, to be racing against her best friend Georgia Hunter-Bell. She's looking in very, very good shape for the championships this weekend. Chelsea charged is back page of the Daily Mail. And looking at the Guardian, they're focusing on Ange Postecoglou as well. I know how winning a trophy makes people feel. Really, from Ange's record in history, you would think maybe it is possible for us fans that you could be looking at a trophy in the next season or two. So it only went away 12 days ago, but it does feel a little bit longer. The Premier League is back this weekend. The action gets underway in North London, and it's been quite a week for the away side.
How big a victory could this prove to be, even at this early stage? Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0.
Mikel Arteta really does have the tools to try and take on this title.
Well, this is absolutely remarkable. Nottingham Forest 0, West Ham United 3.
I always had a very good relationship with the owner. This season, not so well.
Nuno Espirito Santo sacked by Nottingham Forest.
We're talking about a man who's taken the club from a relegation dogfight to Europe for the first time in 30 years.
Back to Gibbs White, he finishes it. It's a perfect goal for Nottingham Forest. It's just the way they like to do it.
We're bringing a coach to the club who has a proven and consistent record of winning trophies.
We haven't seen Ange ball for the last few weeks. He has modified the game plan and he has brought success.
The one constant in my career is that everywhere I've been, I've won things. So I want my teams to play football that's exciting and gets people talking.
Been one of those really interesting international breaks, hasn't it? Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked and replaced all in the same day. That was on Tuesday of this week. Big Ange only out of the game for 95 days, and it's an instant return to the capital as he takes on the arch rivals of the side. He won the Europa League 4 in May. So talkSPORT's resident Forest fan and presenter Max Scott was at the City Ground for us yesterday for Ange's big unveiling and asked Postecoglou whether he has a point to prove.
I don't see it as a point to prove. I don't have to prove anything to anyone, you know. I really believe that, you know, like the football club, that you just, you know, you let your kind of actions speak for themselves, and you present yourself and understand the responsibility you have both as a manager and the football club has to provide joy to the most important people, and that is the supporters. That's why football clubs exist. They don't exist for any other reason. I know sometimes, especially in the Premier League, we think they do. You know, it's about the money or the exposure or the fame, but it's just about bringing joy to the people who, you know, are the lifeblood of this game. And I'm not into proving people wrong. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing because it brings joy to people and allows me to live my dreams.
And you said in your interview with the club that was released last night, you said, I love my teams to attack, score goals. This is sometimes misconstrued as me playing one way. Why do you think people feel that way? And what are they missing?
They're missing everything because they're not watching what I do, you know. And yeah, I do love my teams to attack. I do love my teams to score goals. But the one constant in my career is that everywhere I've been, I've won things. So, and sometimes that's taken, you know, it's all done in a slightly different way. With the principles are all the same. But I'm never going to go away from, you know, I want my teams to play football that's exciting and gets people talking. And for you guys, I'm sure you don't want to see, you know, 20 teams all playing the same way. What's the point? So, you know, from my perspective, I always try and do things a little bit differently.
I mean, even as somebody with a dog in the fight, you know, for Nottingham Forest, or with no real soft spot for Nottingham Forest, absolutely appreciate the club they are and their fan base and everything they've done. But I mean, I love that they've got Ange. I love that Ange is back in the Premier League. Brilliant interview there from Max Scott speaking to Ange yesterday, a lifelong Forest fan. And you look at the progress that they've seen over the last couple of seasons. Where do you stand now, Forest fans, with Ange Postecoglou? Because look at what's happened in the Premier League with Spurs before. I ask you this, is this crazy, Forest fans? Would you take finishing 17th but winning a trophy? Is that acceptable? 03717 22 33 44 810 89. Because Spurs fans were fuming. They all wanted the guy sacked before the Europa League final. They wanted him sacked once they'd won the trophy. But would you take that for a trophy this season or even next season? Would you finish 17th? 03717 22 33 44. It was great to hear from him yesterday. He's got that wit, he's got that element of charm, and then he's a bit frosty at the same time. He's kind of got it all, hasn't he, Ange Postecoglou? He was asked about the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, and here's his response to that.
I don't know, mate. I've only met him a few times, and I just said yes to him. So, look, I think people have sort of, have the kind of existence that he has. It's very hard for us to relate to, but like I said, the one thing about him is that people can't deny is that I think he's taken over this football club with the right intentions. It wasn't a vehicle for people to sort of find out who he is or for him to kind of thrust himself into the spotlight. He wants to have a team that wins things. It's not easier, but, you can go into London, take one of the big clubs, buy one of the big clubs, and you're already guaranteed success. I love the fact that he's picked up, like I said, a club, a fantastic history, but they're in the Championship, and he's taken them back into Europe. I think there's some real merit there, and I think that tells you enough about the kind of person he is.
He's very driven. He knows exactly what he wants, and Ange Postecoglou knows exactly what he wants to do and how he wants his team to play. Will he be able to execute it with this Forest side? How will this one go? Forest fans, I'm keen to get your thoughts this morning. Where do you stand in the whole thing? And are we glad to see Ange back in the Premier League? 03717 22 33 44. By the way, Darren Bent, former Premier League striker from Drive, yesterday says he isn't sure their personalities will mesh together particularly well.
What you can't argue with is fact, is that he wins things in his second season. He did it at Tottenham. Yeah. We see a lot of great managers go to Tottenham that have got a lot better CVs than he's got and not win. I know Jose wasn't afforded the opportunity to win something, but Conte, he was a serial winner. He's won Premier League titles before, and he didn't win anything. So I think for Ange to do that last season, yes, their Premier League form completely went off a cliff. But I am interested to see the dynamics at Nottingham Forest, because Marinakis, as I think Simon Jordan was talking about on the little audio package that we heard, he was saying about Marinakis is not easy to work for. Well, if Marinakis has got ambitions this season about Forest getting back into Europe and maybe potentially pushing Champions League, and they finish 10th, then that's a different conversation in itself.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Ange back in the Premier League, back in North London as well, this time as the Forest boss at Arsenal. It's going to be live for you tomorrow on game day here on talkSPORT. The wonderful Reshman Chowdhury alongside Sam Matterface and the Forest legend Stuart Pearce with you here on talkSPORT. If you're heading out and about, download the talkSPORT app. You can take us anywhere with you for our coverage of that game. Also Saturday night football for you tomorrow. The all West London clash between Brentford and Chelsea. And yesterday I got the chance to go along to the BGC charity event in Canary Wharf. Legendary former Chelsea captain John Terry was there. He spoke to White and Jordan from the event and was with glowing praise for the current Blues boss Enzo Maresca.
I've been very impressed with him, Simon, to be honest. I've been across, he's very inviting with me, he lets me, I'm obviously working in the academy, so I head over a couple of times when the young players head over to the first team, and I get to see him work as well, and he's very personal with the players as well. And I think the biggest thing for any manager this year or in the last couple of years has been to be really close to the players, and he seems to have a real good connection with the younger players as well. He's very young himself, he understands the players, he understands what they want, and he's certainly getting the best out of them at the moment. I do think as a football club, listen, I'm not sure Isak's coming to Chelsea, but I'd love to see us in the mix with those types of signings if we want to be back to our very, very best at the top, winning Premier Leagues year after year. And I think that's the only thing we're probably missing at the moment is those marquee signings.
John Terry, yesterday at the BGC charity event, by the way, just to explain quickly to you what that is. This event takes place in Canary Wharf at the office of BGC. It's in memory of those who passed away in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. That company had a parent company in one of the towers, and 714 members of their staff died on that day. And for the last 25 years, they've been fundraising for many charities, all thanks to this fundraising day. And lots of celebrities come into the office and they all hammer the phones, and the money that comes in, percentage of it goes to their charities. There's loads of charities involved. So we were there yesterday for talkSPORT, and it was just such a lovely day. Loads of people doing great things for wonderful causes. You'll hear from more of those names a little bit later on. And good morning, by the way, to Joel Nathan and Nick Housden, massive talkSPORT fans who work in the building and have very, very good jobs there. I believe they're like brokers and traders and know what they're doing. Big talkSPORT fans and listen to this show as well. So troops, it was good to be with you yesterday. Thank you very much for being so kind. The game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will take your calls after all of the games tomorrow, live for you here on talkSPORT. Don't forget, it all kicks off with Arsenal versus Forest here on talkSPORT, and then Brentford against Chelsea tomorrow evening as well. You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, find out which clubs are banning half and half scarves. Good! Morning. morning. How are you doing today? Welcome along to Friday's early breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. You can find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Alan Brazil, I cannot wait to see that big furry cutie. Not seen him in weeks. I'm gonna squeeze his little face and he'll go beat it. It's going to be wonderful. He's back at 6 o'clock this morning with Gabby Agbonlahor. Some of your other headlines this Friday morning. Chelsea are confident they will avoid a points deduction despite being hit with 74 charges over alleged illegitimate payments to agents during the Roman Abramovich era. They're expected no more than a small fine. It could get much worse, though. Matt Fitzpatrick believe his ball was stolen during a weather-affected first round at the BMW PGA Championship, but said it was a good result that may have helped him to a 6 under par 66. And Olympic swimmer Ben Proud has divided opinions by becoming the first Team GB athlete to join the controversial Enhanced Games, putting an end to his career as an orthodox athlete. The concept, founded by Australian businessman Aaron D'Souza, allows athletes to use performance-enhancing substances without being subject to drugs tests. I mean, what world are we in? Ben Proud was with White and Jordan yesterday and explained his decision to get involved.
I have proven myself. I've proven myself and I've held myself to the highest standard of sport to do what I've done in my career. And retirement's going to have to come at some point. And this is just me simply, as another adult, choosing my pathway that I want to go down. And, you know, who's to say that I did want to stay in the swimming community? Maybe I do want to venture out. And me as a person, I think that was always an option that I wanted to do. So I've got some great friends in swimming who are great role models to the younger generation. And I'm almost handing that over to them to ensure that there are good people around to be a good role model for them.
You've got to be careful what you say, because you don't want to sound judgmental. And Ben's a good guy, you know, and he's a great athlete. But I'm just so surprised by this, that we're now resolving to turn into cheating to win, and that being okay. By the way, a really exciting show coming up on this subject on Sunday here on talkSPORT, the Sunday edition with Faye Carruthers and Henry Winter here on talkSPORT. They're going to be joined by Dr. Aaron D'Souza, the man behind the controversial concept of the Enhanced Games. That should be a very interesting listen. For more on this story, you can jump onto our website at talksport.com. Will is here now for a look at today's back pages. It's crazy, this story, isn't it?
It is.
I feel like where do you draw the line? I was out in Canary Wharf yesterday, Will, and I saw Dame Kelly Holmes. She was fuming about this. You know, she didn't want to go into it. She didn't want to say too much about it. She's like, we should be focusing on the people who dedicate themselves to doing it and winning for the right reasons, not like to see how far we can push our body with drugs.
I mean, it's a fascinating debate. You use the word cheating there, and I guess in this context, in some ways it isn't cheating because it's within the bounds of a separate competition where it's not cheating to take those enhancements.
In sport, though, we cannot change the fact that if you are using performance enhancement drugs, that you're a cheat. But in this world, it's going to be okay.
Well, you're a cheat when you break the rules, right? So
yeah,
if there's a separate competition where there are different rules, then you're not cheating. But I think the tension obviously comes when Ben is saying, I wouldn't recommend this. Don't follow my example, kids. But I'm doing this for my family. And that's where I'm just like, I can't really process the advice. Do as I say, not as I do. That can never be a message. And also, let's not get away from the fact that it's just dangerous. Like using yourself as a human experiment for these substances which have never been legalised for competition. Who knows what the consequences could be? So
the world's about it. I've had a bit of a holiday, and just it's mad what's going on in the world. Like even that story yesterday, you're not compared to what's happened, you know, over the last week, say, but it's very, very dark times.
It is.
And I was looking at my kids sleeping last night before I went to bed, and I thought, even in sport now, there could be a line of sport where they could be, yep, you're cool to do drugs in this sport. You know, it's just mad.
It's why we need Alan Brazil's squidgy, furry face.
Yes!
I want to ask you, have you ever actually physically squeezed his face?
No.
Because it sounded like you had. Which I was really
I wish. Maybe
fascinated by it. He would never let you get that close.
Teddy bear.
Yeah.
Teddy bear with a pint.
He's coming up.
By the way, I saw Paddington the bear yesterday as well.
Oh, yeah.
He was at the charity day. He was the popular.
Yeah, I bet.
Never mind Tom Hardy.
No.
Tom Hardy walked by.
Tom Hardy versus Paddington Bears. Two different audiences.
Had to duck because I stopped texting Tom Hardy back a long time ago.
Really?
Hey.
That's
Sorry, Will. I'll let
history
you.
there.
I'll let you continue. With
Speaking
some
of
serious
popularity, things that are popular. Should we talk about half and half scarf?
Yes.
They're anything but. West Ham, and speaking of popularity, Mohamed Kudus, who will soon be known as Mohamed Judas when he visits the Olympic Stadium when he plays against West Ham for Tottenham Hotspur. So West Ham have banned half and half scarves from the fixture. This is in The Sun on page 50. And there's quite a lot of concern about the general security of the game. Mohamed Kudus was asked, will it be nice to be back at your previous club where you did so well, where you announced yourself to the Premier League? And he went, yeah, it'll be nice. I think he's slightly petrified, to be honest. I mean, West Ham are going through quite a lot of turbulence at the moment. That 3-0 win against Forest was huge for them and huge for the fans, because obviously there was talk of boycotting the next 2 home games. I mean, after a 3-0 win, I'm not sure about sort of boycott claims now. Graham Potter really struggling. I think he'd only won 5 in 20 games before that win at Forest, and the atmosphere is always feral in those games. But I think Mohamed Kudus actually broke a sort of 14-year blank of transfers between the two clubs. And it's a great piece in The Sun today on page 50 talking about the players who could have gone from West Ham to Spurs who were blocked. So Craig Bellamy back in 2007 was told you can't go to Spurs. Daniel Levy told Emmanuel Adebayor a few years later you can't go to West Ham. And since then there's just been an agreement.
Wow.
This is not happening. And Kudus has broken that 14-year mould. So it's going to be the atmosphere will be ridiculous. It's not a day to wear half and half scarves. And if you do wear a half and half scarf, if you are tempted, which I can't really get into the mind of someone who would be tempted, it will be taken away and not returned, says the Chiefs of West Ham. So there you go. That's the promise to the half and half scarf wearers.
I remember one day speaking to somebody very senior here at talkSPORT, and we were talking about Rangers and Celtic, and I was like, yeah, obviously I'm Celtic, and he's like, oh, I've got a soft spot for Rangers, but I like Celtic as well. Oh, I'll just get one of those half and half scarves. And I was like, yeah, good luck finding that in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's probably the worst fixture to wear in half. I imagine.
People don't really have them, but no, it's a funny story all the same. Very quickly, can you tell us very quickly about this Newcastle story and these young kids?
I will quickly. 45 tickets were sold to a bunch of school kids in Dundee. And the Newcastle Supporters Trust weren't happy about it because 110,000 people were in the queue waiting for tickets to watch Newcastle play Barcelona. And Newcastle listened to their fans and said, great, we'll take the tickets away from these 45 kids in Dundee. They are 200 miles away. And I think the Newcastle Supporters Trust, their words were, with such high demand, how can we give tickets away to people who aren't necessarily Newcastle fans? Well, I mean, perhaps the school kids should send in a video, an audition of them pledging their allegiance to the club, maybe singing a few chants, maybe a little quiz to prove their knowledge. I don't know, but it seems a little bit harsh to give the kids tickets and then to snatch them away. It's a pretty bad look for the club, but I think the Supporters Trust will be happy they've got an extra 45 tickets.
It's all right, kids. We'll send you some scarves and
some half and halfers.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you very much. You're back with us again very, very soon. You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, you'll hear from a whole host of names who were at the BGC Charity Day in Canary Wharf yesterday. Good morning.
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the tax man at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the...
Good morning to you. How you getting on this Friday? You made it to the weekend. You're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux, the cover you need at a price you'll love. With Watts Vans Insurer of the Year 2021, you can find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Shebahn with you till 6, and then it's Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor on talkSPORT Breakfast. Just thinking that's the full week now of all the kids back at school. They'll be shattered for us this weekend, troops, for the football being back. We will be able to rest and drink wine sensibly. Some of your other headlines you're waking up to today. Ange Postecoglou says he doesn't know new boss Evangelos Marinakis very well at all yet, having only met him a fleeting number of times, but that he's excited to work with him at Nottingham Forest. Big Ange told talkSPORT he doesn't feel like he has a particular point to prove either as he gets underway in the job away to Arsenal tomorrow lunchtime. Obviously, it's live and exclusive for you here on talkSPORT. In other news, Manchester United keeper Andre Onana has joined Trabzonspor on loan for the rest of the 25-26 season. Onana's only game for United this season was the Grimsby disaster, and Chelsea are confident they will avoid a points deduction despite being hit with 74 charges over alleged illegitimate payments to agents during the Roman Abramovich era. They're expecting no more than a small fine though. Jim White and Simon Jordan were on air as this news broke yesterday, and Chelsea fans will have felt much more at ease about the whole thing after hearing from our Simon.
Well, it was coming, wasn't it? They're not alleged. They declared them themselves. Todd Bowley volunteered that information, so they pretty much detailed it themselves, which they will have count in their favour in terms of the sentencing that they will get. Well, I mean, I'd say sentencing, the consequences that they'll get for those actions, because obviously you're visiting the son, sins of the father and an unwilling son, because they've obviously got different ownership now, but the football club exists in perpetuity, so it will be consequenced as a result of those transgressions. But there will be mitigation because they're not defending it. They're the ones that brought it to their attention, and they're not pushing back against it. So what will the consequences be? I would assume financial. I would assume financial.
Sins of the father and an unwilling son. Sounds like a podcast we should make. Thanks, Simon, for that. He is back next week for you on talkSPORT alongside Jim White. 10 o'clock here on Monday on talkSPORT. The man is gold. An independent regulatory commission will now decide on what happens for Chelsea, what the punishment will be, probably within the next 2 months, according to the Times this morning. And it's thought any fine would be similar to the £8 million UEFA settlement for the same payments in 2023. For more on this Chelsea story and these alleged charges, you can jump onto our website at talksport.com. I mentioned this earlier on yesterday. We were down at the BGC charity event in Canary Wharf. It's a wonderful day. It's raising money for those who lost their lives in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. There's a company there, BGC, they had a parent company who worked in the North Tower on the day of 9/11, and 714 of their colleagues died in those attacks. And for 25 years now, 25 years yesterday, they've been raising millions and millions of pounds for multiple charities, all thanks to this very special day. When I was there yesterday, I met a lovely guy called Joe, who was there the day that it all happened and was speaking in the squawk box and communicating with those in the tower to get messages to their family. It was a really insightful day and really sad and really emotional at the same time. And all of these celebrities in this whole building just all come together to make sure they do their best for those charities on the anniversary of 9/11 every single year. I think it's something like 240 million now they've raised for many charities. So there was loads of celebrities there yesterday. I was a proper fangirl. You know when you have to check yourself sometime? Like Tom Hardy walked by and I was like, play it cool, play it cool, play it cool. Tom! Call me back! And he's got his head down, right? The man's walking ahead. He doesn't want to look. He doesn't want to make eye contact with anyone. He's so famous. Anyway, they were all there, all the rich and famous, doing their bit for charity as well, hammering the phones. They actually go into the trading floor and take all the calls. And then Carlton Cole, our Carlton Cole, he was there as well. Apparently he's a natural. He's not got a Scooby what he's doing. And then he said that there's a kind of glass kind of secret room down the back of the office. It's not secret if it's glass though, is it, Carlton? And he said he was in there at one point, and that's where like the real deals start to happen. So when stuff's really kicking off on the floor, they all go kind of into this kind of glass box and do the proper calls. But anyway, all these charities raising lots of money. It was brilliant stuff. So some of the people who were there, we heard from John Terry, didn't we, on the show earlier on. We can also hear now from former Liverpool, Tottenham and England midfielder Jamie Redknapp on this week's big story. Big Ange back to the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
You excited about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I care a lot. I think it's an interesting move, and I think every now and again there's some things that are just going to be box office for us because Ange, the style of football he had, Marinakis is obviously amazing character. He wants things done instantly, and he's already changed the manager. I mean, I felt, not trying to be wise after the event, but Nuno was on borrowed time after last year. When Marinakis came onto the pitch and started berating him and started complaining, I thought that's not going to end well. And unfortunately, quickly, it hasn't. They had a couple of iffy results, but you know, he obviously wanted more, and he's gone with a manager that wins. You know, Ange has told us plenty of times, that's what I do, I win. And last year, although it was a really poor Premier League season, they won a European trophy. So he'll look at that and go, if that's what you want, that's what I can deliver. So
these 2 seasons.
I know, exactly. It was one of the greatest quotes of all time. It was like, a bit like Mourinho, I'm the special one, to say I always win something in my second season. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Lovely to speak to Jamie Redknapp yesterday. He was in wonderful form, chatting to talkSPORT. Now, listen, I know you've all been waiting and wondering for so many years, which team does Davina McCall and Holly Willoughby support? Well, they told us yesterday.
Who knows? Arsenal. I know. I knew that. Have you got season tickets? My husband does. Yeah, I've got season tickets. Hang on a minute. I bought season tickets, and my son keeps taking girls. Like he takes his girlfriend. He takes my daughter's best friend. That is good. What about your mother, Chester? Remember your mother.
Are you
Who paid for those?
Can't be bridesmaid again, though, Arsenal.
No, we're going to do it this time. Arteta, he's got a plan. I can feel it.
There was loads of Arsenal fans yesterday in Canary Wharf. Yes, there was hundreds of them. Honestly, I was like, what team do you support? To like the celebrities who don't normally talk about football. They're like, Arsenal. Of course you do. Of course you do. So yeah, great to speak to them yesterday on talkSPORT. Like I say, so many people there raising good money for good charities. You can catch them all on our YouTube channel. And finally, Chelsea defender Lucy Bronze shared this season's target for the club following an invincible WSL campaign and personal glory at the Euros in Switzerland.
I think the one that we've got our eyes on is the Champions League. Just let that slip last year, and then we see Arsenal went and won it, so I think it shows us that we know that we're capable to get there. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough this year. The competition's got a lot better, a lot of money being spent in the WSL, but I think it's an exciting time to be part of it.
The league phase as well, I mean, it's a different look to Champions League. How are you guys preparing for that? Is it any different?
Yeah, well, I mean, because the draw's not been done yet, I think we're waiting to see that. But for me personally, I think it's going to be interesting. I think for players to play against more different opposition competition from Europe is exciting. I think that's going to be good for the women's game. So many more people can play against the likes of Lyon or Barca or Chelsea, Arsenal. So it'll just keep it more exciting for the fans to not know who's necessarily going to go through or not, whereas maybe it's been a bit more predictable in the past.
Can Lucy Bronze go 6 Champions Leagues?
That's the hope. That's what we're going for.
Imagine that, 6 Champions Leagues. That would be absolutely crazy. Lovely woman is Lucy Bronze. You can hear more from the celebrities at the BGC Charity Day later on here on talkSPORT with Alan Brazil on breakfast. Good morning to Joel. Joel, if you are up and about just now, you should be in the gym. Apparently, Joel Nathan, who looked after us yesterday at the Charity Day. It was wonderful to meet you, Joel. Fair play to everybody involved in that wonderful day. It was really, really nice to be there for a brilliant cause as well. By the way, just on the subject of Lucy Bronze, let's talk about Manchester United just quickly, because they played Brann last night in Champions League qualifying away in Bergen in Norway, and apparently a boot bag went missing with like six of the players' boots. So they had a nightmare when they got there, and then somebody from the brand team had to go to one of the local stores and pick up football boots. They lost the game in the end as well, which is a bit of a stinker. 1-0 back at Lee Sports Village next week. Fingers crossed for Man United women in Champions League qualifying. More on this on our website, talksport.com. Right, time now for the front pages with Will.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front pages first on the early sports breakfast.
talkSPORT.
And Emma, it's Will and Emma.
I bought my friend.
Hi,
I've only got one, so I take her with me wherever I go.
This is quite nice. I've never had more than one other person in the studio with me at this time.
You can have a bit of neck muscle.
Usually they avoid me, so this is nice. What are we doing? What's happening?
Well, I think we're scattergunning. I think we're alternating, and I think Emma's going first.
Yeah, give me the biggest piece of nonsense you can find today, Emma. It's like, no, I've actually found some really serious good stuff to focus on. Yeah.
Well,
my brain, Emma.
This one is so funny. So a teacher went on sick leave for like 16 years, and she was paid her full £48,000 salary each year the whole time, and none of her colleagues even noticed that she wasn't there.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
What subject does she teach?
I don't actually know what she taught, to be honest, but can you just imagine?
She's a geography teacher.
Yeah, and being none of your colleagues being like that, not well known or liked, that no one knew that you.
No wonder
weren't
she didn't turn up.
16 years.
16 years, full pay, fair play to her.
Sounds like a Brazilian technique, doesn't it?
Well, Alan Brazil,
he could get away with it.
you're
People would notice he's not there, but I think he could get away with something like that.
Oh my goodness, that's mental.
It is crazy. And another wonderful story that appears in today's Sun is there's been research on how to diffuse an insult with a little counterpunch.
Right.
And what's the most effective way of doing that. And apparently the best one-liner when you receive an insult is, calm down, Grandma. So you could say, how is, what are those clothes? I mean, you look ridiculous.
Calm down,
Grandma.
Okay.
I hate the fact that you're always leaving the kitchen messy. Calm down, Grandma. It's just a nice diffuser to say you're just not quite up to speed. You're just a bit aggy. You're just a bit.
There's a good one on
have a break.
TikTok similar to that, where a guy's kind of kicking off about something, and this real camp guy just kind of emerges from the background of a crowd and goes, "Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill.
Daddy, chill."
Exactly. And what do you say to that? And then the guy goes, "What the hell is even that?" He's just completely frazzled.
Daddy, chill over. Calm down, Grandma.
Have you heard the Hamish and Andy podcast where they
Yes.
go through power moves?
Yeah.
Some of those are so funny. So like, someone could be talking in a sense, just like in the middle of a story, and they're both Australian guys, and they go, "Whoa, slow down." And apparently that completely frazzles someone. Or the good one is
Good accent, though, Will.
when is when someone comes into your house and you have your shoes on, and you go, "Take your shoes off, please. We don't have shoes in this house." But you keep yours on. Ultimate power move, apparently. How good is that? Or at school, when the bell goes and you set your watch to exactly when the bell, you start packing 10 seconds before the teacher goes, "Wait till the bell." You stand up, you go 3, 2, 1. Bell goes off. There's so many good power moves.
It's a bit intense from
unbelievable.
Will this morning, isn't it?
We're getting to know him on
Power
the
moves scattergun.
Yeah, it's all coming out now. Oh dear, okay. Apart from that school teacher, took the bell 3-2-1 and went off for 16 years.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
her style.
On full pay.
Absolutely. Emma, anything else about us?
Apparently, so Brits are getting bored of butties. A survey has been carried out saying 2/3 of staff are nibbling their sarnie and crisps on their own. 54% are eating in front of their computer, and 11% have said the traditional meal deal, so you sandwich, crisps, and a drink, is dull. So I think that whole survey is a bit dull.
Is it not about ham? Traditional ham sandwich is meant to be the most boring meal, but it's also the best. See when you're getting a
loads of butter.
Yeah, jumping on a train, or you're on the go, or whatever like that. The Boots meal deal or the Tesco meal deal.
What's your meal deal of choice?
It would be salt and vinegar squares, or my crisp of choice.
Salt and vinegar squares.
Ham sandwich, can of Diet Coke. Get in my belly.
Calm down, Grandma.
That
is quite an average meal deal.
Daddy, the bell's about to ring.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your shoes up. Take your shoes off at the door.
Yeah, you're listening to Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT, guys. Thank you very much. Coming up next, we'll build up to a huge fight here on talkSPORT this weekend. Good morning.
This is the talkSPORT Goal Show. It's the show for the fans. It's done by the fans.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Yes!
He is an unlocker of defences. That.
If you've got a problem or something to say, you don't have the right to say anything about something. I do.
This nonsense kills the game.
Good morning. It's Friday. It's early breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn with you, and we've got 1 week to go until we're calling two winners to go head to head live on the radio to win the most epic prize, our biggest prize ever here on talkSPORT. They both score tickets to see Oasis at Wembley for the gig on the 27th of September 2025, but only one will walk away with £25,000. So it all goes down Friday the 19th of September. Keep your phone off mute. Don't be that guy who misses that call. I'm always that guy who misses the call I've been waiting for all day. Don't be that person. You could be getting the call from us to win £25,000 and tickets to Oasis on the 27th of September. But first, don't look back in anger, people. Here's how you can enter.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Good luck to that. That would be magic. Not only winning the tickets, but winning that cash as well. Now, it's been a huge week in the world of boxing, hasn't it? The All British heavyweight fight we've been politely asking for since at least 2020 was back in the news after AJ called out Tyson Fury via Ring magazine. By the way, saw AJ yesterday. He was also in Canary Wharf at the BGC Charity Day. They were all there. It's like, hi, Anthony. He's like, all right. Anyway, this Saturday, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford fight for the undisputed world super middleweight titles. It's live on Netflix in Las Vegas. talkSPORT are also out there for the fight as well. Crawford, a four-weight world champion, is moving up an additional £14 to challenge for Canelo's undisputed super middleweight crown. And one burning question surrounding Crawford's climb up is whether he can withstand Alvarez's power at £168. It's going to be an absolute cracking fight, hopefully. But British boxing icon Amir Khan tells talkSPORT that might play into Crawford's favour.
It's 100% going to be a tough fight for Canelo because obviously with the size and the boxing skills that Crawford has, Crawford makes you miss, hits you when he wants, and he frustrates a fighter. And when it comes down to power and size, I think he's got that as well because, like I said, I think he will be able to push around Canelo. See, Canelo, if you think about it, in his last couple of fights, he's been on his back foot. He boxes a little bit more. He runs around the ring a little bit more and, moves a lot. Well, maybe he doesn't want to take too much punishment anymore. If you look at the way he fights, especially the one in Saudi when we were together, we saw him fight against Skull. He was just boxing, hit, moving, and it didn't seem like the old Canelo that stands there and goes to war. So maybe he doesn't want to do that anymore. He just wants to be more smarter now. He wants to box a little bit more.
It's going to be brilliant this weekend. Huge fight ahead here on talkSPORT. And the one that won't go away, we touched on it there, AJ versus Tyson Fury. AJ fanned the flames this week by telling Ring magazine he's ready to discredit the record of the dippy Tyson Fury. His words, not mine. AJ's promoter Eddie Hearn said his man is ready to go whenever.
He's gone through a little bit of soul searching after the Dubois fight, if I'm honest, and then the disappointment of getting the injury to the elbow, and he had to have an operation on there. The last 2 weeks, he's really turned the switch and he's ready to go back into training camp. So, I've noticed that change. When I saw that on Instagram yesterday, I loved it because you can't win. People say, oh, AJ he's not outspoken enough. He doesn't call people out. And then when he does call people out, it's like, well, what's AJ doing? Why has he been like that? So I think he's just reached the stage of his career where he's like, look, I'm going to tell you how it is. I want to punch Tyson Fury's head in. Let's make the fight.
It did make me laugh, that quote, punch his head in. Not funny at all, but you know what I mean. Plenty more coming up on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Fight night this weekend here on talkSPORT. Saturday night is going to be absolutely excellent, and all of the action coming out of Vegas as well with our top team here on talkSPORT. And the talkSPORT YouTube channel is where you need to be at. Coming up for you on talkSPORT Breakfast this morning, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, Alan Brazil's little squishy face. I'm going to squeeze it of missed him. He's back with Gabby Agbonlahor this morning. COP TV and DR Sports host Alex Gilday-Trott, AGT, is going to be with us to look ahead to Alexander Isak's Liverpool debut away at Burnley on Sunday. Former Manchester United coach Ray Mullenstein ahead of Sunday's Manchester derby at the Etihad. I wonder how that one's going to go. Former Man City and Arsenal striker Paul Dickov will be here as well. And of course, Curse of the Commentator with little Sam Matterface. This is Early Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Breakfast is next. Enjoy.